Madam Speaker, in my last budget address, I outlined the plan of this government to move forward with the construction of a 7-megawatt geothermal power plant in the Roosevelt Valley to supply clean energy at a lower cost to households and businesses in Dominica. Today, I am pleased to provide an update on the significant progress that we have made over the last 12 months. We have established the Dominica Geothermal Development Company, DGDC, with a full complement of staff to move ahead with the construction of the power plant. In June of this year, the government of New Zealand recruited a project manager who is now engaged with the DGDC. Funding from the project will come from various sources. Government will contribute EC $40.5 million. In addition to government's contribution, we have secured all the funds required to construct the plant from our development partner. Grant funding will comprise an amount of $30 million from the government of the United Kingdom, $5.4 million from the government of New Zealand, $5.4 million from SIDSDA. The government has also applied for a grant funding under the United Arab Emirates Caribbean Renewable Energy Fund. The grant is expected to be between $8.1 million and $13.5 million and would fund a battery storage system to be used in the national electricity grid. Funding will also be obtained from the World Bank in the form of a loan of $16.2 million at a highly concessionary rate of 0.75% with a 10-year grace period and 40 years repayment plan. Madam Speaker, that almost sounds like something I heard on the news, something like that. Like $300 a month, Madam Speaker. In addition to the financing required to construct the plant, government has also been able to secure contingent financing in the event additional production wells are required. The funds have been provided by the Clean Technology Fund in the amount of $24.3 million. The CTF will also provide $6.8 million in the form of technical assistance for advancing the development of a large geothermal plant for export of power to Guadeloupe and Martinique. Madam Speaker, work is ongoing on the environmental and social impact assessment in the Roosevelt Valley. This will take into consideration the impact of the construction and operation of the geothermal plant on the residents of the Roosevelt Valley. Every effort will be made to ensure that adverse impacts on the communities and the environment will be mitigated. Compensation will be given to landowners, and support will also be provided to residents who occupy lands to ensure that they are not left worse off. There is a firm commitment from the government to properly and adequately compensate the landowners in the Roosevelt Valley for their property management. As we speak, Jacobs New Zealand Limited, our technical consultants, are progressing with the designs of the power plant to be completed by the third quarter of 2017. And the project will go to market for an engineering, procurement, and construction contract immediately thereafter. Once the plant has been commissioned, the DGDC will sell power to Dominica to be distributed throughout the country. So far, I have been advised that based on the regulations of the Independent Regulatory Commission, IRC, Dominica must pass on the lower tariff to the consumers. That is to say, Dominica is not allowed to add to the cost at which the power will be sold. This will ensure that the lower cost of electricity from geothermal will pass through to the consumers of our country. The cost of geothermal electricity sold to Dominica will be much lower than the current cost of diesel generation. Negotiations are ongoing with Dominica to finalize the terms of the power purchase agreement between the DGDC and Dominica. Negotiations are expected to be completed in the coming weeks.